This is Bob. And Bob was my firstborn. He had just bought his home that he lived in for 29 years before he was killed there. This guy was looking for a place to stay. Bob said, I think the Lord wants me to help you. Bob says, I'm so blessed and I want to help others. And he took him in. I'm sure Bob didn't know that there was a drug dealer living in his house. He never thought anything bad about people. That was his downfall. I knew what was going on, and so I tried to warn him. I said, you know your life's in danger. I am just sorry that Bob didn't listen. He'd be with us today.
County 911. My neighbor, he was shot. What happened? I heard multiple shots, like a lot of shots right now.
The caller says his neighbor just collapsed on his doorstep.
Does he still appear to be breathing? Yes, I think he's still alive. You know somebody else is your neighbor? Yes, my neighbor Bob. Reach out to paramedics on the way. We'll do.
As police and EMS respond,
County 911.
I'm a Lyft driver. I was dropping a young man off at his house, and I heard gunshots as I was approaching. And then I saw a guy stumbling across the cul-de-sac. It looks like he's been shot. I don't want to tell this young man nonsense or anything. I ain't your Lyft driver, bro.
We did have somebody call it in.
Your officers just arrived on scene.
A black male, obvious gunshot wound, not alert, barely breathing.
As paramedics rush the victim to the ER,
We need to clear this house. You're ready, victim.
officers find a second man shot dead in the garage,
We need volume ready.
and a third man shot dead in the living room.
Preparing for 2 more bodies? Here, bro.
I'd always been interested in policing ever since I was a young kid. Always stared at police officers, seeing what they were doing. As soon as I started it, I just fell in love with it. Couldn't imagine going back to the civilian world.
A 10-year veteran of Gwinnett PD, Corporal Doug Loomis worked robbery and SVU before joining homicide last year.
It's my first triple. We know that 2 of them are still at the house, and the third one ended up not making it on the way to the hospital.
The victim at the hospital is a 45-year-old black male. He was shot 3 times in the chest, once in the back, and once in the leg.
There's a greater urgency when someone who's just killed 3 people. You don't know how desperate they are. They might just kill some more people. What do we have?
Outside the home of the neighbor who called 911,
The victim was sitting, kind of propped up, leaning against the door.
Did he say anything to you?
Within 30 seconds of our arrival, he pretty much
officers were unable to get a statement from the victim who died at the hospital.
There's 2 dead bodies in the house.
The homeowner?
He was inside the house. Robert Caverly.
64-year-old Robert Caverly grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. He moved to Georgia in his 30s and worked as a maintenance engineer. Robert is survived by his mother and 3 brothers.
The other decedent is who?
So the guy in the garage, we have no clue who he is.
The unidentified victim in the garage is a white male.
Somebody told me they saw somebody run around the back in the swamp.
I heard the Lyft driver, bro.
The Lyft driver who called 911 said a man fled into the woods carrying a blue blanket.
Could be the shooter.
Yeah.
The canine unit tries to pick up the man's trail.
We've got some pretty fresh footprints. In fact, there's areas of giant swamp. I'm not going to be able to really check very well. So, it might not be a bad idea to start there one. Working on.
Air units join the search, using thermal imaging cameras that can track body heat.
Air one,
We'll go in here and figure out what's going on.
Sounds good.
The car sitting in the door. So they cleared the car.
Oh, there's a handgun laying in the grass.
Near the car is a 9mm gun.
Over the line.
Yes, it.
The unidentified white male in the garage was shot 4 times. Once in his head, shoulder, back, and leg. Littered around the garage are 13 .40 caliber casings.
I don't know.
In the living room,
He was like that with the pooling of blood.
the homeowner, Bob, has a gunshot wound to his chest and one to his arm.
There's a shower casing. One shot on the staircase.
Both casings are 9mm.
It looks like the homeowner is coming down the stairs, and that's when he gets it.
Did you try to run through the door?
Yeah, it's probably.
I mean, it's pretty sad.
Upstairs,
In here, I assume that's Junior's room.
the team discovers a child's bedroom,
We searched the house of this kid.
Did it myself.
Okay.
but the child is nowhere to be found.
That's bad.
Is our dead guy at the hospital the guy that shot these two and they shot him?
I don't know. Right now, it's a crazy scene. I don't exactly know how everything is connected, but it's a big cluster right now.
Homeowner here, directly to the left. He said the Bob guy had just gotten roommated. Maybe a few months ago or earlier this year. There was a kid, a black male, yeah, and then a female.
So that wasn't Bob's kid.
No.
I think it's the new guy's kid.
Detectives believe the child belongs to the victim who died at the hospital.
Okay. Maybe get with the SROs and they'll say, hey, these are who's associated with that address.
The team will reach out to the school resource officer to try to get the name of the missing child and his mother.
We really need to find out where this kid is.
Yeah. It's very worrisome.
While some of the team works on finding the child,
We located the fully blanket.
the canine unit tracks the suspect's scent to a discarded blanket 40 yards into the swamp.
We're going to try and cast around this area. Let's see if we can find anything.
And then to a house just 1 block from the crime scene.
We've located a house with a crawl space that was open. Inside, we've located a bunch of muddy clothes, a couple bags, and an AK pistol.
They believe the suspect stashed a pair of jeans, a backpack, a bag full of drugs, and an AK-47.
So he's running with an AK, dope, blanket, and he's half naked.
Air 1 check the swamp. They've got no heat, so I have nowhere to redeploy to try anything.
Air units were unable to locate the suspect.
Has anybody tried to knock on the door at that other house?
No.
How do we know that dude's not in there holding the family?
We don't.
search warrant signed.
I don't know if the suspect is in that house. We don't know if there's a family in that house. We don't know if he snuck in, might be holding him hostage.
The team makes entry.
So right now we're thinking of who's in the house.
But the suspect is not inside.
I appreciate it.
3.5 hours in,
We can't miss up and down the street. That house is a ring camera. She wasn't able to get any of the video. She's at work at that reception.
a neighbor has agreed to hand over surveillance video when she gets off of work.
Hey, Lieutenant Bozeman's got the number for the 5-year-old's mom.
Using the crime scene address, a school resource officer found the name of a guardian for the child who had been living at the house.
Jennifer Kelly. She's at a hotel in Norcross.
Jennifer is the fiancée of the victim who died at the hospital.
Once we dispel the kids accounted for, then we can shift gears. Thank you.
I'm calling her.
Hello?
Hey, Jennifer.
Yes, who is this?
Hey, this is Corporal Loomis with Gwinnett Police. How are you?
Yes, sir. I was trying to see if anything happened at my house today because somebody called me and said the house had got shut up.
We were trying to get in touch with you just to make sure you're okay. And were you here earlier today at all?
No, sir, I haven't been there. I left Thursday night and got in an argument.
She says she left the house 2 days ago after a fight with her fiancé.
Oh, okay.
Loomis asks her about the missing child.
We were just curious. Is he with you?
He's with my sister-in-law.
The child is staying with her fiancé's sister.
Who else was here at the house who wore glasses?
Stephen Finch. He was over there early.
She says she spoke to her fiancé on the phone a few hours ago, and he was hanging out with Bob's former roommate, Stephen.
They were just hanging out throwing darts in the garage.
Okay. Did they say what they were going to do today?
No, he didn't because we had plans. I got a hotel room. We're just trying to have him a long time and see if we can work things out.
She says her fiancé was supposed to stop by her hotel room.
Can you just tell me if he's alive?
It was bad. Okay. I'm sorry. He passed away.
No! Oh my God!
I'll be there soon, okay? She hung up. It was tough. Hey, Smith. That guy in the garage is Stephen Finch.
33-year-old Stephen Andrew Finch was born and raised in Cordele, Georgia. He worked as a filleter for a local seafood company in order to support his 3-year-old son. Stephen leaves behind his parents, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers.
His father called him, and he's like, tell me, is it him? And I'm like, well, I don't know for sure.
Stephen's father called from Cordele, 50 miles south of Gwinnett County, when a family acquaintance notified him that his son may have been killed.
Can you call that number and tell the father?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, this is Corporal Loomis with Gwinnett Police.
My name is Jessica, and Stephen Finch is my brother.
Okay. I believe my sergeant has spoken with your father as well earlier.
Yes.
We did just confirm that Stephen Finch is one of the deceased bodies up here in Gwinnett County.
Okay.
Sorry you had to find out this way, and I'm so sorry this happened. We were going to try and have a law enforcement officer down there make contact, but you guys found us first.
Okay.
We're still trying to piece all this together.
He just went up there to visit his girlfriend. And she's pregnant with my brother's child.
I'm so sorry you see y'all's loss.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Loomis and Corporal Chris Smith meet with the fiancé of the victim who died at the hospital.
When was the last time you were at the house?
Yesterday when I got off, I got some clothes. Will you tell me Bob killed too?
Yeah.
Was. We were going to get married. So on Thursday, we got in a big fight. But he kept telling me to come home and everything.
What happened on Thursday?
Maybe sent some money to some people in Mexico. And it was drug related.
She says her fiancé was bringing meth across the border from Mexico.
And I told him I didn't want to live that way. And I was like, the baby's here, and, you know, you putting our lives in jeopardy, you know? I could tell him that. He was drinking, he hit me in my eye.
She says she left because he gave her a black eye.
He was going to go to anger management, and he told me to get this hotel room. If he said, I might as well tell the truth. I have no clue who did it.
What's his name?
The boy named Justin. They were selling drugs, and Justin was like the guy that used to go rob everybody and beat them and stuff like that.
So Justin, is he a black male?
Yes. And I don't know Justin's last name, but you can find out because Justin's brother got killed at his hotel not too long ago, running from the police. He shot the police dog.
She said Justin's brother was driving a stolen vehicle when he led police on a car chase that ended in a hotel parking lot.
I guess they were supposed to be robbing somebody or something. Then they thought.
She says Justin thought Jennifer's fiancé had set his brother up.
I know Justin was threatening him and telling him he was going to get back.
So Justin, his brother, is the one that shot the police dog?
Yes, and died.
Corporal Chris Smith looks up the incident with Justin's brother.
This Justin?
That's him.
Okay.
She identifies 21-year-old Justice Lusk as the man she knows as Justin.
There's a lot of guns. I'm willing to tell the truth because I want whoever did this, I want him to the jail right now. Y'all still need me?
Nah, we're good for now.
If you need anything, I promise I'm right here.
Yeah, that works. Thank you.
So, Mello on scene says they were able to access the ring camera across the street.
The team finally got surveillance video from one of the neighbors.
Let's go. Jennifer gave me a name, Justice, and she believes that they had gotten threats from him. So, I mean, we still got to link this Justice guy to the location. It just makes it a little more complex.
You want to come watch this video? I got to pull up. There's the suspect. Camera drops him off. He's wearing sweatpants and like a bluish or grayish hoodie.
The suspect gets into an argument with the victim, who died at the hospital.
So he obviously knew who the shooter was.
Car leaves.
Most likely an Uber.
He gets shot.
The victim who died at the hospital was shot first.
You can see him run out. The other car comes back. More gunfire. And he takes off.
Notice when the suspect called for a ride, his driver freaked out and took off.
The suspect goes into the Infinity. The suspect tries to get into this car.
I ain't your road driver.
And he takes off in between these two houses.
The camera was too far away for detectives to get a look at the suspect's face.
Find out what Uber that was.
Corporal James Mello will contact Uber to try and track down the driver who brought the suspect to the scene.
I think we're really close, man. Yeah. All right, I'm going to headquarters.
Six hours in.
Hello?
Uber came back, that Justice guy.
Uber reported that Justice Lusk was the passenger.
I just sent you the driver's name and telephone number.
All right.
He got dropped off in an Uber, he got picked up in an Uber, and he got dropped off in an Uber.
According to Uber, Lusk requested another ride from nearby that he used to flee the area.
And he's got the address.
Uber gave detectives the address where he was dropped off.
And he just sent you the ID of the brother, the shot blue, and it's got the same address.
The address checks back to Justice's father.
We're going to drive over to this address and see what we can see.
I love it. Teamwork.
While detectives head out to begin surveillance on Lusk's house.
The plan is to put a lineup together and get the Uber driver back. Hello? Hey, it's Corporal Loomis with the Gwinnett Police.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Loomis calls the driver who drove Lusk to the crime scene.
I know it's late, but I was wondering if you'd be able to meet me at my headquarters to show you a photographic lineup.
Oh, yeah, I can go right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
A half hour later.
Okay, bud, how you doing? Okay, so we're investigating a homicide that occurred earlier this afternoon. This is the area that it happens, Creekwater.
Richter shows the driver a map of the cul-de-sac where the murders happened.
Do you remember this particular customer?
Yeah, I know this guy. This guy was in the backside, was doing something like on my seat. I don't know, argue with people, they know. Who knows what they're gonna do. So I dropped him up, and I was just turning around, and suddenly there were gunshots. After just like 3-4 minutes, I got another call from the same guy. I said, I just picked this guy, it's the same.
The Uber driver says he returned to the cul-de-sac to pick up the man he just dropped off.
I saw there's one other Uber guy. He has a BMW and he's dropping off a kid, like a minor kid. And he was telling me, did you hear the gunshot? They shot the guy on the corner. And that super guy was calling the dead guy, hey, you okay? You okay? So I just literally ran away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a group of 6 photographs, okay? Basically, look at the pictures. If you recognize somebody, tell me which one and why.
He identifies Justice Lusk as the man he dropped off just before the shooting.
Hey, picked it.
Okay, do you want to just circle the number and then initial it?
Yeah. When he got out of my car, he just put his mask. And because he's doing weird behavior, so I look at him like, trying to find out who's that. His name was showing Justice.
Still in there? Hey, boy.
You said when you talked to him on the phone.
So when you dropped him off, did he ask you to wait? No, he didn't ask me to wait.
Did you guys have any conversation in the car?
He was smoking, and I said, man, I'm asthmatic and I can't handle it. So he said, okay, let me finish outside. That's the only conversation.
Was this guy carrying anything?
Yeah, he had the backpack. Does the backpack look like that one?
Loomis shows him a photo of the backpack that was found in the crawl space.
Yeah, 100% yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a victim? Oh, he's a criminal. He's just someone we're trying to find. You guys can't catch him?
We're gonna catch him. No, you have.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your help, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen.
We're gonna have to do a search warrant at that house.
Yeah.
Loomis now has enough to secure a search warrant for Lusk's address.
I mean, it would be nice to get him off the streets tonight. We've come a long way in 8 hours or whatever it's been.
Yeah. We had Major Restrepo and Corporal Mello getting ready to spin up their SWAT team and do a search warrant on Lusk's address.
As SWAT prepares to hit Lusk's house,
Man, 911.
Someone just came to wreck my house.
a report comes in about a suspicious person in the neighborhood where the murders took place.
He stopped the car and it was kind of strange. He ran to like a house, like hiding, kind of hiding things.
How long did he stay behind there, you know?
Like probably a good 4 minutes. He drives off right now.
What kind of vehicle is he in?
He's in a black Camry. He's wearing like a hoodie. Army camouflage, green, brown, and black.
Did you tell if he's a white male, black male?
Black male. He's coming back again. I see him right now.
The caller says the vehicle is circling the neighborhood.
The officers, they're on their way. Just stay in line with me.
He said there's a black Camry and there's a person walking around behind something that's broken up.
Okay, the police is right behind us.
2147 on the black Toyota.
The officer spots the Camry driving slowly through the neighborhood and pulls it over.
21 really? I'll be transporting one now to 35.
Yes, sir.
Your suspect's 1095. They just stopped him. I said, who's in the car? He says, Justice. So I said, put him in handcuffs. I think we pause on the search warrant, you think?
Yeah.
So we got him. Let's pause on that. Let's get him in pocket. We're going to head over that way.
Yeah, it works. Thank you, guys.
All right, bro. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's a lucky break. Who would have thought when we arrived that you'd be here right now?
Cheers.
Cheers. Good work.
11 hours into the investigation.
Justice, how you doing?
Justice Lusk is brought into homicide.
My name is Ted Lemon. This is Ted Mello. How you doing tonight?
Good.
So if you're in police custody, you ever been up here before?
No.
No? Ever been arrested for anything?
No.
So the reason why they're selling your car and came about is some people saw you walking behind their house. What were you looking for back there?
No, I got a friend still there. I was trying to see how far we was away from the house.
Where's your friend live?
Next street over.
Can you describe the house to me? Like, is it on a main road? Is it in a cul-de-sac?
It's in a cul-de-sac.
So it's in a cul-de-sac. If you're driving into the cul-de-sac, which way are you gonna go?
To the left.
Okay. I think I might know which house you're talking about.
Do you scare some people walking behind their houses? Why wouldn't you just drive the car around?
Because they said they had it blocked off. And then I heard the news. I had a homicide, someone over there in the area. And I knew that to go get my stuff. I left my gun.
He claims he was trying to get to the victim's house, where he had left a gun several days ago.
What kind of gun is it?
It's AK.
You like to shoot guns a lot?
I don't be shooting guns.
You know? When was the last time you shot a gun?
Some nights.
Why were you going this late to get that stuff?
I wanted to hurry up and get it, and that's mine, it's in my name, you know what I'm saying?
What about this afternoon? Were you there this afternoon?
Yeah, I came.
How did you get there today? Uber? What happened when you got there?
I wasn't dead.
He claims his friend wasn't home.
It's all over.
Okay. But you walk into the garage?
No.
Yeah. You do?
You know what's amazing about that cul-de-sac, Justice?
What?
All the video cameras.
You get out of the white Toyota Camry Uber and you walk into the garage. And who do you talk to in the garage?
I was talking to
He admits he spoke with his friend, the victim, who died at the hospital.
What were y'all arguing about?
They was like trying to keep my guns.
I can see how that would be upsetting. We're just trying to figure out why you left your guns over there initially.
I needed some money.
So he loaned you money for your guns? Were you going to pay him back?
Yeah, I had the money. He just didn't want to give it to me.
Alright, well, you said you saw the news, so something happened when you were there. I kind of know what happened, but you were there.
He was arguing with me about me trying to pick my guns up. I got the gun.
He claims his friend was carrying a 9mm.
Okay, and did you shoot him because he had a gun, or?
Yeah, that's how. When I came in the garage, he was clutching at me. He got his hand ready on the gun, so I felt threatened.
Is that the black and silver one from the front yard?
There's a handgun laying in the grass.
I grabbed that too.
You may have dropped it by accident. How many times did you shoot the second guy that was in the garage?
I think so.
2 times.
Which one did you use to shoot them? So 40 caliber?
Mm-hmm.
So you go in the house?
No, I'm going upstairs.
Okay, is that when Bob, the old white dude, is coming down the steps?
Yeah, he was like, what's going on?
How many times did you shoot him?
2.
Bob's like, okay. Why'd you shoot Bob?
Because now I was trying to get my guns back.
Is that when you went upstairs to try to find your guns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had a Glock 22 with a micro kit and a Draco, a wooden Draco.
And then what did you put those in?
In the book bag.
That makes a lot of sense. And then you took that stuff and you went through the woods and you put the stuff in the crawl space, right? So those are the jeans you had on?
Mm-hmm.
Was that meth that was with that in the crawl space?
I don't know. I just grabbed the bag.
And then, is that one of the AKs?
That's my Draco.
The guns you used to shoot everybody are in this backpack?
Yeah, that's the Glock 22.
Okay. Did you think it was going to be like that when you got there? You did. So you went there with full intention of getting your guns and killing everybody?
No, I just wanted to get my stuff and be done with it.
You regret what you did?
I just wanted to get my stuff and leave and never come over there again.
Well, got a confession. And I mean, I was just going super slow, just leading up to it, and shot him. He's like, yeah. I'm like,
he knew we knew, and it was killing him.
Mr. Luss said the Glock 22 was inside of the backpack. They didn't go through it, so we're just going to make sure that Glock 22 is in the backpack, like he said, because that's the one he said he shot everybody with.
There it is.
On scene, we recovered a 9mm handgun in the front yard, which was used to shoot Robert Caverly. So 2 guns were used during this homicide. The 9mm that we recovered in the yard probably is the gun that the victim had on him at the time. I believe that situation evolved so quickly that his .40 caliber handgun may have run out of ammunition, and I think he may have not fully remembered using that 9mm handgun.
Just 12 hours into the investigation, Corporal Loomis closes his case.
When I interviewed Jennifer, she had mentioned that her fiance was involved with drug cartels, but there was no connection from drug cartels directly to the homicide. My best estimate on what happened, Justice needed money, so he lent his guns to the first victim that got shot. Justice was on a mission to get his guns back, and then as soon as Justice walks in the garage, the victim was yelling, "Don't come in here starting that." He knew why Justice was there. Somehow that altercation turned into shooting. And he's the one who ultimately passes away at the hospital. Justice has no direct connection to Robert, or Stephen. I think they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, Robert had let Jennifer stay there, and then she brought her fiance to stay. And the fiance brought all this trouble to the house, which ended up, with this triple homicide. I'm sorry that 3 people had to lose their lives today, because that's a tragedy for all the families involved.
Stephen was my younger brother. Every moment of our life growing up was spent together.
7 months after his murder, Stephen's sister Jessica is still learning to cope with the loss.
I have my good days and my bad days when it comes to dealing with it. We are headed to Miss Brown's house to meet her for the very first time today.
Sharing their grief, Jessica and Bob's mother, Mary, have become friends.
Miss Mary and I talk once every couple weeks or so. I feel like it's kind of helped a little bit.
Come in. Yes, ma'am. Jessica, let me give you a hug. We have something that binds us together now.
Yes, ma'am. They were special people.
Yes.
We learned after Stephen passed, there was a guy at his funeral, and he said that my brother had found him sleeping up under a bridge, and it was cold, and Stephen said, come on, you're going to go home with me tonight. And Stephen gave him a place to stay for the night. So they were a lot alike. I just can't even begin to put into words how much life has changed.
It changes you forever.
I think they would be happy that we met today.
Oh, yes, I think so too.
The tranquil cadence of suburban life, so often taken for granted, can, in an instant, be irrevocably fractured. The very air, once still and promising of peace, can become charged with the echoing memory of violence, transforming familiar spaces into scenes of unspeakable tragedy. This narrative begins not with the violence itself, but with the quiet dignity of a life lived and the profound sorrow of a mother whose voice, laden with enduring grief, guides us to the heart of this harrowing tale. "This is Bob," she began, her words a soft, almost reverent introduction, yet vibrating with an unbearable ache that 7 months of relentless mourning could not diminish. And Bob was my firstborn. The primal weight of that declaration underscored the depth of their connection, a bond forged in the innocent beginnings of life and cherished through decades, now cruelly severed by a senseless act. Bob, her eldest, represented the genesis of her motherhood, a source of enduring pride and unconditional love. His life, a steady, dependable presence, had been a constant in her world. Just recently, he had embraced a profound milestone, achieving a deeply personal dream. He had just bought his home, she continued, the inflection of her voice carrying the wistful resonance of unfulfilled futures. This was not merely a house. It was a sanctuary, a canvas for future memories, a testament to his hard work and aspiration. He had lived within its walls for an impressive 29 years, cultivating a history there, pouring his spirit into its foundations, marking the passage of seasons within its familiar rooms. It was a place of comfort, of personal history, of anticipated peace. But this haven, a symbol of stability and hard-won independence, was transformed, in a shattering moment, into the stage for his brutal demise. The sheer irony, the cruel twist of fate, was almost too much to bear. A man killed in the very place he had lovingly called home for nearly 3 decades, just after officially claiming it as his own. Bob's essence, however, was not defined by brick and mortar, but by the expansive, almost boundless kindness that emanated from his very being. It was a characteristic that, while truly noble, inadvertently carved the path to his tragedy. The sequence of events leading to that fateful night began with a simple plea for help, a desperate human need intersecting with an extraordinary capacity for empathy. This guy was looking for a place to stay. The request, uttered by a stranger down on his luck, stirred something deep within Bob, a sense of altruistic duty that resonated with his core beliefs. Bob said, "I think the Lord wants me to help you." It wasn't a casual offer. It was a conviction, a belief that his purpose extended beyond himself, a deeply felt calling to alleviate suffering. His personal philosophy was clear, articulated with a humility that belied his profound generosity. Bob says, "I'm so blessed and I want to help others." This declaration was not an empty platitude. It was a living creed of a man whose heart overflowed with gratitude for his own good fortune, prompting him to extend a hand, an open door, a promise of shelter to those who found themselves on the fringes, bereft and seeking refuge. His life was a testament to the belief that blessings were not meant to be hoarded, but rather amplified through sharing, particularly with those in dire need. And so, guided by what he perceived as a divine imperative for compassion, he took him in. It was an act born of pure, unadulterated goodness, unblemished by cynicism or suspicion. The tragic irony, a cruel shadow cast across his benevolent spirit, was that I'm sure Bob didn't know that there was a drug dealer living in his house. His innate capacity for seeing the best in people, his fundamental inability to conceive of genuine malice or calculated deception, blinded him to the insidious truth festering within his own walls. He never thought anything bad about people. This characteristic, arguably his most endearing, yet simultaneously his most vulnerable, proved to be a fatal flaw in a world where such purity of heart can be brutally exploited. This uncompromising belief in inherent human goodness was, lamentably, his downfall. His expansive spirit, magnificent in its reach, lacked the defensive mechanisms, the wary discernment that a more cynical world demands. His mother, however, possessed a different, perhaps more pragmatic perspective. Her maternal instincts, sharpened by a lifetime of protective love and a deeper understanding of the world's darker corners, had detected the creeping shadow of danger. I knew what was going on, she confessed, her voice thick with the agonizing clarity of hindsight and the burden of a warning unheeded. The specific details of what she knew remained veiled, perhaps unspoken, to shield her listeners from the full horror. But her intuition was undeniably strong, signaling a dangerous path ahead for her beloved son. And so I tried to warn him. The words, imbued with a futile effort, hung heavy in the air. Her attempt to intervene, to pull him back from the precipice, had been resolute. I said, "You know your life's in danger." This was not a vague premonition. It was a direct, visceral plea, born of a mother's deepest fears. The raw emotion that permeated her voice as she concluded, "I'm just sorry that Bob didn't listen. He'd be with us today," was a devastating testament to the unerasable sorrow of loss and the gnawing burden of what-ifs. It underscored the agonizing truth that even the purest intentions, when confronted with the brutal realities of the criminal underworld, can lead to devastating and irreversible consequences, leaving behind a wake of unanswerable questions and enduring heartbreak. Bob, in his steadfast commitment to charity, had walked into a fire he could not see, and his mother bore the searing pain of watching from afar, powerless to extinguish the flames. The suburban calm, so synonymous with peace, was ripped apart with jarring suddenness as multiple. Frantic voices began flooding the emergency dispatch lines. The clock had struck, and terror had descended. When I turn in, I'm on lock. My neighbor, 2 shots. What happened? The first caller, a resident caught in bewildering immediacy of violence, conveyed a palpable sense of shock, an abrupt shattering of his evening routine. The initial 2 shots, a chilling prelude, quickly escalated. My neighbor's multiple shots, like a lot of shots right now. The rapid-fire repetition, the sheer volume of gunfire, painted a terrifying sonic landscape over the phone line, forcing the dispatcher to grapple with an unfolding, dynamic crisis. A grim detail emerged from the frantic report. The caller says his neighbor just collapsed at his doorstep. The image of a human being, struck down at the threshold of their home, evoked a chilling vulnerability. The dispatcher, a calm voice in a sea of panic, focused on the immediate medical status. Does he still appear to be breathing? A flicker of hope, however faint, existed. Yes, I think he's still alive. The next question from the dispatcher, struggling to comprehend the severity and nature of the incident, betrayed a desperate need for clarification. You know, somebody else is killing his neighbor? The chilling, unequivocal response cut through the uncertainty, cementing the identity of one of the victims and the perpetrator's intention. Yeah, it's neighbor Bob. The dispatcher's terse, authoritative instruction to this police and DNS respond was the immediate and urgent activation of a sprawling emergency response, mobilizing law enforcement and medical units to converge upon a scene where quiet suburban streets had suddenly turned into a battleground. A second caller, a Lyft driver whose ordinary evening fare had veered abruptly into horror, provided another terrifying eyewitness account, a unique, transient perspective on the unfolding tragedy. I'm a Lyft driver. I was talking to a young man off in his house, and I heard gunshots as I was approaching. The driver's narrative painted a vivid picture of a seemingly routine pickup transformed into a prelude to pandemonium, the sudden, violent sounds of gunfire echoing ominously in the night. The visual confirmation followed, etching a terrifying image into his memory, and then I saw a guy stumbling across the called back. The fleeting glimpse of figure, disoriented and wounded, attempting a desperate retreat, suggested the chaos of the immediate aftermath. It looked like he was in the back. This fragmented detail hinted at a chaotic struggle, perhaps a pursuit, and the perpetrator's frantic efforts to escape. The driver's next recollection, a fragment of conversation overheard, was haunting, pointing to a potential additional victim or a secondary player in the drama. I don't want to tell this young man. I don't want to do anything. I'll get you a real dollar. Bro. These words, though indistinct in their specific meaning, suggested either a plea for help, a promise, or a threat directed at someone, further intensifying the air of desperate urgency that permeated the scene. The emergency call then confirmed an escalating situation, painting an increasingly grim picture for the dispatch operator. We did have somebody call it in. This house, your office is just alive. Blackmail. How do you send for that woman? She's not alert. She's clearly breathing. This tersely delivered report indicated not only multiple male victims, but also the terrifying possibility of a fourth casualty, a female whose uncertain state underscored the sheer, overwhelming scale of the unfolding tragedy. The domestic scene, which had minutes prior been indistinguishable from countless others, had metastasized into a complex and bloody crime scene demanding an immediate, comprehensive law enforcement and medical response. Against the backdrop of screaming sirens and the frantic whispers of responding officers, a different kind of race had begun. The paramedics, masters of the merciless clock that governed severe trauma, converged on the doorstep where Bob had collapsed. With practiced urgency and professional precision, they rushed the victim to the ER, fighting against every tick of the clock that determined the fine line between a flicker of life and the cold certainty of death. Every minute, every second, was a precious commodity, a battle waged against blood loss and encroaching shock. Meanwhile, the first uniformed officers, having secured the exterior perimeter and ensured the immediate environment was safe, made their way into the presumed sanctuary of Bob's home, bracing themselves for what they might discover within its shattered walls. Their training kicked in, overriding the natural human response to revulsion or fear. What they found deep in the horror, transforming a single shooting report into a truly catastrophic event. Officers find a second man shot dead in the garage, and a third man shot dead in the living room. The stark reality of a triple homicide settled over the scene, a grim tableau of unthinkable violence that exponentially raised the stakes for the fledgling investigative team. The scale of the brutality immediately marked this as an anomaly, a case that would demand every ounce of skill, resilience, and swift action from the dedicated men and women of the Gwinnett Police Department. For homicide detectives, the profession is an unrelenting, high-stakes sprint against time, a desperate scramble for crucial evidence before it evaporates. The sobering truth is encapsulated in a stark statistical reality. For homicide detectives, their chance of solving a murder is cut in half if they don't get a lead within the first 40 minutes. This grim benchmark, known colloquially as the golden 40 minutes, isn't merely an abstract number. It's a cold, hard imperative that ignites an almost frenzied, yet meticulously controlled, phase of initial investigation. These precious minutes represent the chaotic nexus where opportunities are either seized or lost. Forever, where witness memories are freshest, where perpetrators might still be in the immediate vicinity, and where a crime scene's pristine integrity rapidly succumbs to entropy It is a time for lightning-fast decisions, for the rapid deployment of resources, and for the tireless pursuit of any tangible clue, however small, that can unravel the chilling silence of the dead and provide a glimmer of hope for justice. In such an environment, the initial moments are everything. Standing at the threshold of this unprecedented tragedy was Corporal Douglas, a man whose professional journey had been a steady, deliberate march towards a demanding, often heartbreaking, realm of homicide investigation. I'd always been interested in policing ever since I was a young kid. I always stared at police officers, seeing what they were doing. His early fascination wasn't a fleeting childhood fancy, but a profound, almost innate calling that grew with him. As soon as I started, I just fell in love with it. Couldn't imagine going back to the civilian world. His vocation was absolute, his commitment unwavering. Having dedicated a decade of service as a 10-year veteran of Gwinnett Police Department, he had honed his skills in the high-octane environments of robbery and SBU, units that routinely confronted the volatile fringes of society. Yet, even with his extensive experience, the scale of this particular crime was a stark, novel challenge. Before joining homicide last year, this is my first triple. The words carried the quiet weight of professional calm, but beneath that composed exterior lay the understanding of the immense, solemn responsibility that such a case brought. A case that transcended mere numbers and plunged directly into the darkest aspects of the human condition. It was a baptism by fire, a triple-strength crucible for his relatively new role in the homicide unit, demanding an unwavering commitment to uncover the truth for those whose voices had been brutally silenced. The initial, fragmented reports quickly coalesced into a harrowing reality, painting a clearer, albeit devastating, picture the scale of the horror. We know that two of them are still at the house. These were the grim constants of the crime scene, bodies found within the shattered domestic space, awaiting the somber finality of the medical examiner's arrival. However, the fate of the third victim, initially rushed to the emergency room, brought a crushing finality, and the third one ended up not making it all the way to the hospital. The urgent sprint of the ambulance, the desperate measures of the paramedics had proven futile. The victim, initially clinging to life with a desperate fragility, had tragically succumbed to his catastrophic injuries, transforming the incident from a critical response into an irreversible tragedy for a third individual. The full scope of his wounds underscored the sheer brutality of the attack. The victim at the hospital is a 45-year-old black male. He was shot 3 times in the chest, once in the back, and once in the leg. The precise, devastating pattern of injury spoke volumes about the killer's intent. Not just a wound, but to utterly eradicate, to snuff out a life with cruel efficiency. The strategic implications of a multiple homicide are immediately and acutely felt by law enforcement, injecting an even greater, almost frantic, sense of urgency into the investigation. There's a greater urgency when someone has just killed 3 people. This wasn't merely a matter of diligent police work. It was a race against a potentially ongoing threat to public safety. You don't know how desperate they are. They might just kill some more people. This chilling thought hung heavy in the air, a dark cloud reminding every officer that a triple murderer at large represented not only an affront to justice but profound, immediate threat to the wider community. The immediate priorities became laser-focused. Identify the perpetrator, contain the danger, and bring the killer into custody before the violence could spread further. Every minute lost was a gamble with potential new victims' lives. Outside the now cordoned-off home, the scene pulsed with controlled chaos. Uniformed officers fanned out, securing the perimeter, establishing crime scene tape, and canvassing the neighborhood, hoping to locate anyone, any individual, who might have seen something, heard something, anything that could offer a crumb of information. Their immediate focus converged on the neighbor who, in a state of terror and shock, had placed the desperate 911 call. The chance, however remote, that Bob, as he lay critically wounded, might have whispered a name or given a crucial piece of information to the first person he encountered after the shooting, was a lifeline the officers desperately clung to. Did he say anything to you? Officers pressed, their questions sharp with the urgency of fading opportunities. But the answer, when it came, added another layer of grim disappointment. Within 30 seconds of our arrival, officers were unable to get a statement from the victim who died at the hospital, the fleeting, precious window of opportunity to gather a first-hand eyewitness account from one of the victims had tragically closed. Death had claimed its silence, leaving the detectives to piece together the narrative without one of its central, most crucial voices, intensifying the challenge of an already complex and devastating case. With the initial scene secured and the grim reality of 3 confirmed fatalities, the somber and meticulous process of identifying the deceased began in earnest. There's 2 dead bodies in the house. This cold, hard truth guided the investigators' immediate actions within the now violated sanctity of Bob's home. The homeowner, he was inside the house. The first identification was both immediate and heartbreakingly clear. The kind man known to all as Bob, the pillar of his community, the generous spirit, was officially confirmed. His full legal name, Robert Caverly, now entered the official police report, marking the formal documentation of a life abruptly ended. 64-year-old Robert Caverly grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. He moved to Georgia in his 30s and worked as a maintenance engineer. His concise biography, recounted with the quiet, professional reverence detectives often afford their victims, painted a picture of a man rooted in honest labor, a life built with steady hands and a diligent spirit. It starkly underscored the senselessness of his murder, a tragic collision between profound goodness and brutal malice. Robert is survived by his mother and 3 brothers. The profound impact of his loss, reverberating through his grieving family, was explicitly stated, a stark reminder of the enduring human cost that extended far beyond the immediate crime scene. However, the identity of the second victim found within the home remained shrouded in an unsettling anonymity, adding a perplexing layer to an already complex inquiry. The other decedent is who? So the guy in the garage, we have no clue who he is. The stark lack of immediate identification of the man in the garage created a crucial void in the developing understanding of the crime. This unidentified victim in the garage, described only as a white male, represented a significant enigma, a ghost whose story, and his connection to Bob and the unfolding violence. The detectives now had the arduous task of uncovering. Who was he? Why was he there? What role, if any, did he play in the horrifying events of the night? These questions gnawed at the edges of the nascent investigation, demanding immediate answers to paint a complete picture of the tragedy. Even as the grim task of identification continued indoors, crucial leads were emerging from the chaos outside, hinting at the suspect's desperate flight. Somebody told me they saw somebody run around the back. This vague, initial witness statement, a fragment caught in the shock of the moment, soon gained significant substance, solidifying into a more concrete lead. The Lyft driver, still reeling from his proximity to the gunshots, provided a pivotal eyewitness detail that directed the pursuit. The Lyft driver, who called 911, said a man fled into the woods carrying a blue blanket. The seemingly innocuous detail of the blue blanket now transformed into a potential visual anchor, a distinct marker in the search. The question hung heavy in the air, transforming the fleeing figure from a mere escapee into the primary person of interest. Could it be a shooter? The possibility was undeniable and chilling. The Gwinnett Police Department's K-9 unit, with their highly trained and uniquely capable tracking dogs, was deployed without hesitation. The K-9 unit tries to pick up the man's trail. These animals, with their exquisitely sensitive olfactory senses, possess an almost supernatural ability to follow a scent across challenging terrains, offering a critical advantage in an urgent manhunt. Ready to hit Frank? You're better get to start Air One. The urgent call to Air One signaled the immediate deployment of the police force's aerial assets, including helicopters equipped with sophisticated thermal imaging capabilities. Air units joined the search, using thermal imaging cameras that can track body heat. These infrared cameras could pierce through the shroud of darkness and dense foliage, transforming the landscape into a canvas of heat signatures, providing a crucial, bird's-eye perspective in the desperate search for a suspect who was undoubtedly trying to vanish into the anonymity of the night. Every technological and tactical resource available was being brought to bear against a desperate and dangerous fugitive. Amidst the frenetic pace of the manhunt, a critical, tangible piece of evidence surfaced near the perimeter of the crime scene, a chillingly unambiguous link to the violence that had shattered the evening. Sounds good. There's a handgun laying in the grass. Near the car is a 9mm gun. The discovery of the firearm, lying starkly in the dew-kissed grass, discarded perhaps in haste or a moment of panic by a fleeing perpetrator, was a monumental development. It was not merely a weapon. It was a tangible connection, a crucial physical link to the events that had transpired, an undeniable clue in the unfolding, high-stakes drama. The 9mm, a common but deadly caliber, would immediately be secured, tagged, and processed by forensic specialists. Its unique ballistic signature a potential key to unlocking the truth of the shootings. Back inside the violated sanctuary of Bob's home, forensic investigators meticulously documented every detail, working against the clock to preserve the integrity of a scene now saturated with tragedy. The examination of the body of the previously unidentified white male in the garage provided a grim testament to the ferocity of the attack. The unidentified white male in the garage was shot 4 times, once in his head, shoulder, Tirtem fortem calibre Jesus. He was like that with the pulling of blood. The grim count and location of the wounds, including one to the head, indicated an execution-style ruthlessness, a brutality that went beyond mere incapacitation. The term 1314 caliber Jesus was likely a reference to the caliber of the bullets used, perhaps a .45 caliber, the officer's expletive reflecting the shock and severity of the wounds. The sheer volume of pulling of blood conveyed the extensive and fatal trauma inflicted. For Bob, the homeowner, the wounds presented a different, but equally tragic, picture. The homeowner, Bob, has a gunshot wound to his chest and one to his arm. These injuries, while fewer in number than the other victim, were clearly fatal, indicative of a direct, deadly encounter. Detectives, piecing together the chaotic sequence of events, paid meticulous attention to the ballistic evidence, each spent casing a silent narrator of the horror. There's a showcasing one shot on the staircase. Both casings are 9mm. The discovery of a shell casing on the stairs was particularly telling, a grim breadcrumb left by the fleeing or pursuing killer. It suggested a dynamic, possibly struggling, encounter that moved beyond the initial sight of the shooting. The interpretation began to solidify. He looks like the homeowner. It's coming down the stairs. And that's when he gets it. This poignant reconstruction depicted Bob, perhaps roused by the initial gunfire, venturing from his private sanctuary upstairs, attempting to intervene, investigate, or escape the escalating violence, only to be confronted and struck down on the very stairs of his own home. The detective speculated on his final, desperate instincts. Think he'll try to run through the door? Yeah, probably. I mean, he's pretty sad. The scene suggested a futile attempt at self-preservation, a tragic illustration of an innocent man caught in an unfolding maelstrom of violence, making a last, desperate bid for safety that was brutally thwarted. The profound sadness of his fate hung heavy over the grim task of unraveling the circumstances of his death. As the forensic and detective teams continued their painstaking work throughout the house, their ascent to the upper level of Bob's residence yielded a discovery that injected a fresh, chilling wave of uncertainty and profound human concern into an already dire situation. Upstairs. In here, I was in Lutz Jr.'s room. A detective, navigating the disarray, stumbled upon a child's bedroom, an oasis of innocent vibrance in stark contrast to the grim reality unfolding on the floors below. The vibrant colors, the toys, the small-scale furniture, all the telltale signs of a child sanctuary were there. But the child itself was missing, an empty crib, a silent toy box echoing with profound absence. The teen discovers a child's bedroom, but the child is nowhere to be found. The paramount concern, initially focused on identifying the deceased and apprehending the killer, immediately broadened to the safety and whereabouts of this vulnerable, unseen individual. The thing is connected? Well, it's a big cluster right now. The rhetorical question articulated the overwhelming complexity of the situation. Multiple victims, an unknown number of perpetrators, and now a missing child. It was indeed a big cluster, a tangle of interweaving, horrifying threads that detectives now had untangled with excruciating speed and precision, each thread representing a life, or a threat to one. The detectives quickly dismissed the possibility that the child belonged to Bob, the kind homeowner, as his life had already been meticulously chronicled. He said the Bob guy, so it wasn't Bob's kid? No, I think it's the new guy's new guy. This deduction solidified a suspicion that the child was likely associated with one of the newer, transient residents of Bob's home, most probably the victim who had been rushed to the hospital and had tragically died from his wounds. This shift in understanding immediately provided a new, crucial vector for the investigation, to identify the missing child and, by extension, gain more information about the victim and his connections. The team needed to leverage unconventional resources. Detectives believe the child belongs to the victim who died at the hospital, with the SROs, and they'll say, hey, these are who's associated with the drugs. The strategy swiftly crystallized, utilized the school resource officers, or SROs, who possess unique community ties and access to student information, albeit with careful consideration of privacy protocols. The teen will reach out to the school resource officer to try to get the name of the missing child and his mother. This indirect yet effective approach, leveraging school records and established community networks, offer pragmatic path forward, circumventing immediate roadblocks and accessing vital demographic information. The collective sentiment among the investigative team was palpable, a shared wave of profound anxiety. We really need to find out where this kid is. Yeah, it's very worrisome. The safety and well-being of an innocent child, suddenly thrust into the horrifying maw of adult criminality, amplified the profound humanistic meaning of their mission and injected a fresh, acute urgency into their already relentless pursuit of justice. Every second that passed without confirmation of the child's safety was an eternity of dread. While one critical segment of the sprawling investigative team meticulously worked on tracing the missing child, other specialized units relentlessly pressed on with the physical pursuit of the fleeing suspect. A desperate search across unforgiving terrain. The K-9 unit, tireless in their dedication, continued to provide invaluable assistance. Their highly trained noses led them directly to a crucial piece of discarded evidence. While some of the team works on finding the child, attracts the suspect sent to a discarded blanket 40 yards into the swamp. This discarded blanket, the very same blue one observed by the Lyft driver, confirmed the suspect's direction of flight and provided a tangible waypoint in the manhunt. From the swamp, the relentless K-9 trail continued, leading the investigators alarmingly close to the scene of the crisis, and then to a house just 1 block from the crisis. This unexpected proximity suggested either a safe house, a prearranged rendezvous point, or a desperate, opportunistic hiding place. At this nearby location, more clues emerged, indicating a concerted effort by the suspect to change their appearance and discard evidence. They believe the suspect stashed a pair of jeans, a backpack 47, the discarded clothing, along with a backpack 47, likely meaning backpack number 47, in terms of evidence. Tagging or perhaps an officer's shorthand for its content or specific detail, pointed to a deliberate attempt to shed any identifiable marks of their flight, while the backpack itself likely contained further evidence or, more ominously, the remaining murder weapons. However, the pursuit, despite its meticulousness, encountered significant and immediate roadblocks posed by the challenging natural environment and the inherent limitations of technology. One, check of the swamp. They've got no seat. So I have nowhere to redeploy to try anything. The dense, muddy, and treacherous terrain of the swamp made sustained ground tracking nearly impossible, forcing the K-9 unit to momentarily halt their direct pursuit. Simultaneously, the force's aerial units, despite being equipped with advanced thermal imaging cameras, reported a frustrating lack of success in detecting any heat signatures belonging to the fleeing. Individual air units were unable to locate the suspect. The air, both literally and figuratively, had gone cold, leaving a vexing gap in the active pursuit. The discovery of the house a mere block away, believed to be the suspect's temporary refuge or a planned hiding spot, immediately presented a fresh, acute tactical dilemma. The other house? No, we know the dude's not in there. While there was a strong suspicion that the perpetrator had indeed sought shelter there, the crucial uncertainty lingered. Was he still inside? We don't know if the suspect is in that house. We don't know if there's a family in that house. We don't know if he snuck in, might be holding him hostage. The stakes were incredibly high. The possibility of innocent residents, particularly a family, being caught in the crossfire, or worse, being held hostage by a desperate triple murderer, demanded extreme caution and a calculated tactical response. An immediate special weapons and tactics, SWAT, team entry was rapidly authorized, balancing the urgency of apprehension with the paramount concern for public safety. The team makes entry, but who's in the house? The tactical entry team moves swiftly and methodically, breaching the presumed sanctuary of the suspect. However, a tense and systematic sweep of the entire property yielded a frustrating conclusion. But the suspect is not inside. A brief, collective sigh of relief for the safety of any potential occupants was quickly followed by the deflating reality of a missed opportunity. I appreciate it. The suspect, elusive and cunning, had once again slipped away, deepening the resolve of the weary but determined investigators. 3.5 grueling hours into the unrelenting manhunt, Corporal Douglas paused to take stock of the complex, rapidly evolving situation. The frustration was palpable, a constant pressure to secure every possible lead. 3.5 hours in, we can't miss stopping down the street. She wasn't able to get any of. The video, a critical piece of the puzzle, surveillance video from a neighbor's Ring camera, remained just out of reach because the owner was still at work. These visual recordings, offering an unfiltered, unbiased perspective, were deemed invaluable. The good news was that cooperation had been secured. The neighbor has agreed to hand over surveillance video when she gets off of work. This provided a crucial, albeit delayed, source of visual evidence, which could be the linchpin of the entire investigation, potentially providing crucial images of the perpetrator's arrival or departure. Then, a significant breakthrough emerged regarding the missing child. A welcome piece of positive news amidst the prevailing gloom. Hey, Lieutenant Postman's got today's number for the 5-year-old's mom. The school resource officer had delivered on the task. Having navigated the sensitive and complex process of identifying and locating the child's mother, using the crime scene address, a school resource officer found the name of her, Jennifer. The fiancée of the victim who had died at the hospital had been successfully located, her whereabouts providing a critical new avenue for information. She's in a hotel in Norcross. Locating the child's mother was a momentous step, providing an immediate opportunity to confirm the child's safety and, just as importantly, to gain first-hand intelligence about the household dynamics and the potential perpetrator. We dispel the kid's encounter before then we could shift gears. With the urgent concern for the child's well-being addressed, a testament to the integrated approach of law enforcement, the investigative team could now fully pivot, shifting its primary focus back to the intense pursuit of the homicide perpetrator, armed with new potential leads. Corporal Loomis, ever the consummate professional, made the crucial call, her voice projecting a calm, reassuring tone that belied the immense gravity of the situation she was about to impart. "Hey, Jennifer." "Yeah, Sergeant." "Hey, this is Corporal Loomis. Looking at police. How are you?" The initial greeting, carefully calibrated for reassurance, initiated the difficult conversation. "We're trying to get in touch with you, just to make sure you're okay." Jennifer's immediate response, though delivered calmly, carried the distinct undertones of pre-existing conflict, immediately painting a more complex, volatile picture of the domestic dynamics within Bob's household. She says she left the house 2 days ago, after a fight with her fiancé. This revelation instantly provided a compelling reason for her absence during the murders, and it hinted at significant marital strife, potentially leading to the very events now under investigation. "Oh, okay." Loomis acknowledged the information, mentally filing it for further consideration. The most pressing question, however, remained the whereabouts and safety of the child. Loomis, with practiced sensitivity, carefully steered the conversation back to the innocent, vulnerable party caught in the maelstrom of adult criminality. Loomis asks her about the missing child. "We're just curious. Is he with you?" Jennifer's response, providing a surge of profound relief, confirmed the child's safety. "The child is staying as her fiancé's sister." The child was not missing, but merely with a relative out of harm's way. A small but significant victory in a night full of horrifying losses. With this paramount concern addressed, Loomis delicately, yet persistently, steered the conversation back towards the unfolding tragedy, searching for any scrap of information, any name, any detail that could illuminate the dark corners of the triple homicide. Who else was here at the house who wore glasses? They were dead. The cryptic detail of someone wearing glasses immediately prompted Jennifer to recall other individuals, potentially witnesses or victims. She then offered a critical piece of information, revealing that she had spoken with her fiancé just hours before the shootings. She says she spoke to her fiancé on the phone a few hours ago with Bob's former roommate, Stephen. The name Stephen, previously a ghostly, unidentified presence in the garage, now had context, providing a link to Jennifer's fiancé and Bob's recent past. Loomis, seeking any forewarning, inquired about the day's plans. Did they say what they were going to do today? Jennifer confirmed a mundane, unfulfilled intention. She says her fiancé was supposed to stop by her hotel room. This small detail, meant to be an everyday occurrence, now carried the heavy burden of plans tragically interrupted, a future suddenly, violently stolen. Then Loomis, drawing upon her considerable professional strength, had to deliver the unspeakable news. The moments following such a disclosure are often suspended in an almost visceral silence, a frozen instant of disbelief before the crushing weight of an irreversible reality descends. It was bad, okay? I'm sorry. He passed away." The gentle, almost hesitant phrasing was a professional necessity, attempting to cushion the brutal blow. Jennifer's immediate, piercing cry of "no" reverberated with the raw, guttural anguish of sudden, unimaginable loss, a sound that etched itself into Loomis's memory. It was a sound of a future erased, a life irrevocably altered in an instant. Loomis, ever professional, instinctively sought to offer a modicum of comfort and practical assistance, bridging the vast chasm of grief. "I'll be there soon, okay?" The call concluded, leaving Loomis to absorb the immense emotional toll, a profound quiet descending after the storm of human suffering. That was tough. These 2 words, understated yet brimming with empathetic fatigue, were a poignant commentary on the taxing nature of her duty. In the immediate aftermath of that emotionally draining, yet strategically vital, conversation with Jennifer, a crucial and illuminating piece of information clicked into place, solving one of the primary enigmas of the crime scene. Hey, Smith, that guy in the garage is Stephen Finch, the previously unidentified white male, the tragic figure whose presence in Bob's garage had been a source of such perplexing mystery, now had a name, Stephen Finch. This identification, likely cross-referenced from details provided by Jennifer, such as her fiancé's conversations or acquaintances, opened up an entirely new dimension to the investigation. 33-year-old Stephen Andrew Finch was born and raised in Cordell, Georgia. He worked as a filer for a local seafood company in order to support his 3-year-old. So, Stephen's story, now revealed, painted another deeply poignant portrait of a hard-working man with vital family ties, a man whose life had been dedicated to his young son. This detail further amplified the devastating ripple effect of the murders, underscoring the tragic and far-reaching collateral damage of criminal violence. Stephen leaves behind his parents, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers. The profound impact of his loss, extending far beyond the immediate crime scene, now became undeniably clear, reaching into another family, another community. The agonizing news had already begun to filter through unofficial channels to Stephen's family, preempting the official police notification in the brutal speed of small-town rumor mills and worried phone calls. His father called him. He's like, Tell me, is it him? A family acquaintance, likely aware of the news spreading to the community and making the devastating connection, had contacted Stephen's father, plunging him into a terrifying abyss of uncertainty. I'm like, well, I don't know for sure. The person receiving the call, perhaps a relative or friend, could only offer hesitant, inconclusive comfort. Stephen's father called from Cordell, 50 miles south of Gwinnett County, when a family acquaintance notified him that his son may have been killed. The father's desperate plea for confirmation underscored the gut-wrenching pain of fearing the worst. For one's child, the immediate and somber duty of official notification now fell to the officers. Can you call that number and tell the father? Yes. Corporal Loomis, once again, stepped forward to perform this most agonizing yet essential duty of a police officer, preparing to deliver news that would irrevocably shatter a family's peace. The subsequent phone call to Stephen's family, conducted with the utmost care and gravity, was steeped in sorrow and a profound sense of duty. Hey, this is Corporal Loomis with Gwinnett Police. My name is Jessica, and Stephen Finch is my brother. The sister's voice, though acknowledging the authority of the call, still clung to a sliver of desperate hope, a fragile denial that this could truly be happening. I believe my sergeant has spoken with your father as well earlier? Loomis inquired, gently confirming the tragic inevitability and preparing to deliver the definitive confirmation. Yes, we did just confirm that Stephen Finch is one of the deceased bodies up here in Gwinnett County. The direct, unavoidable words landed with the crushing finality of an official pronouncement, erasing any last vestiges of doubt or hope. Okay. The sister's response was a choked, heartbroken whisper. Sorry, I'm out this way, and I'm so sorry this happened. Loomis extended her heartfelt condolences, acknowledging profound and irreversible loss. She also explained the initial plan. We were going to try and have a law enforcement officer down there make contact, but you guys found us first. The sister's words then offered a glimpse into Stephen's final hours, painting a picture of his mundane intentions. He just went up there, visit his girlfriend, and he's pregnant, but the broken child. This additional layer of tragedy, an expectant girlfriend, a child who would now grow up without a father, further underscored the devastating, far-reaching impact of the violence. I'm so sorry. You see how it's going. Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. Thanks. The call concluded, leaving behind another family irrevocably broken by the senseless act, adding to the growing ledger of human cost in this horrific triple homicide. Corporals Loomis and Chris Smith, now armed with critical new information and a deeper understanding of the victim's connections, made their way to meet with Jennifer, the fiancée of the victim who had tragically succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. This face-to-face interview, free from the distortions of phone lines and conducted with the weight of her fresh grief, was absolutely crucial for gathering deeper, more nuanced details about the crime and the individuals involved. Loomis began by establishing a timeline, seeking to pinpoint Jennifer's last verifiable presence at Bob's house. When was the last time you were at the house? Jennifer's response, charged with raw, barely contained emotion, spoke volumes about the volatility of her relationship. Yesterday, I went and got all the fuck out of clothes. The expletive, unbidden and raw, painted a vivid picture of extreme marital strife, a contentious separation preceding the murders. She elaborated on the turbulent history. We used to meet at the bar puke too. Yeah, it was a very lucky marriage. The sarcastic twist of very lucky marriage indicated deep-seated resentment and conflict. So I'm thirsty and got a big fight, but people telling me to come home and everything. Her words, fragmented by distress, pointed to a cycle of arguments, reconciliation attempts, and a constant undercurrent of tension that defined her relationship with the now-deceased fiancé. The detective gently, yet persistently, probed the precipitating event, the underlying cause of this deeply fraught relationship, and the reason for her departure from the house. What happened on Thursday? The answer, when it came, was a chilling plunge into the sordid underworld that had so tragically intersected with Bob's life. Maybe money took some people in Mexico, and it was drug-related. Jennifer directly and unequivocally implicated her fiancé in serious criminal activity, shedding stark light on the motive for the violence. She says her fiancé was bringing meth across the border from Mexico. This revelation was a monumental breakthrough. It immediately established a powerful, dangerous motive rooted in the high-stakes, ruthless world of drug trafficking. Jennifer herself had expressed profound apprehension and fear for their lives, especially their child's. And I told him I didn't want to live that way. And I was like, the baby's here, and, he put in our lives in jeopardy, I could tell him that. Her voice conveyed the palpable terror for herself and their innocent child, caught in the perilous orbit of his dangerous and illicit endeavors. The escalating danger was not just theoretical, it had become brutally physical. He was trying to get me in my eye. She says she left because he gave her a black eye. This domestic violence, a stark manifestation of the volatile pressures they endured, provided a deeply compelling reason for her timely departure, perhaps inadvertently saving her life and her child's from the subsequent bloodshed. He was going to go to extra management, and he told me to get this hotel room. She was following his instructions, believing she was escaping immediate physical harm, not realizing the magnitude of the storm brewing on the horizon, a storm that would engulf Bob's home. Then, with the heavy burden of truth weighing upon her, Jennifer uttered the pivotal name, a name that would become central to the entire criminal investigation. If he said, I might as well tell the truth. That's how cool it is. What's his name? The boy named Justin. The casual, almost resigned tone masked the enormity of the information she was about to provide. Her description of Justin painted an immediate and grim picture. He was on drugs, and Justin was like the guy that used to go rob everybody and beat him and stuff like that. This portrait depicted a violent individual, deeply immersed in the drug underworld, known for ruthless acts of robbery and assault, a highly plausible perpetrator. So Justin, is he a black male? Yes, and I don't know Justin's last name. But you can find out because Justin's brother got killed at his hotel. This crucial, if indirect, lead provided this central bridge for law enforcement to identify Justin. Through the public, records surrounding his deceased brother, a prior police incident of significant notoriety. Jennifer continued, revealing the depth of the brother's criminal history. Not too long ago, running from the police, and he shot the police dog. the brothers' violent end, involving a high-speed car chase and attack on a canine officer, firmly established a pattern of extreme criminality, violence, and anti-establishment behavior within the family, painting a clear picture of the dangerous individuals Jennifer was describing. She said Justin's brother was driving a stolen vehicle when he led police on a car chase that ended in a hotel parking lot. This background underscored the desperate and ruthless nature of those associated with Justin, solidifying the credibility of Jennifer's information. The most chilling aspect of Jennifer's testimony was the alleged motive for Justice's aggression against her fiancé. I guess they were supposed to be robbing somebody or something. Then they thought, she says Justin, thought Jennifer's fiancé had set his brother up. This revelation solidified a powerful, dangerous motive, a deep-seated vendetta, a belief by Justin that Jennifer's fiancé had somehow betrayed or orchestrated his brother's capture and death. It elevated their dispute from typical drug world infighting to a mission of violent vengeance. It's right in his hand telling him he was going to get back. The explicit threat of retaliation confirmed the intensity of the animosity. The detectives needed absolute certainty on the link. So, Justin, his brother, is the one who shot the police dog? Yes, and died. This direct confirmation was the linchpin, connecting the violent past to the current triple homicide. Corporal Chris Smith, processing the rapid-fire succession of details, immediately moved to cross-reference the critical information Jennifer had provided. His fingers flew across the keyboard. Accessing police databases confirmed the details about Justin's deceased brother and his criminal record. Corporal Chris Smith looks up the incident with Justin's brother. This Justin? The quick search yielded results, validating Jennifer's claims and providing the necessary official identification. Within moments, the individual Jennifer knew as Justin was officially identified. She identifies 21-year-old Justice Lusk as the man she knows as Justin, the identity of their primary suspect, the central figure in the drug-related animosity and suspected perpetrator of the triple homicide, was finally, definitively established. This was a monumental breakthrough, transforming a murky crime into a targeted manhunt. With Justice Lusk's identity now confirmed, Loomis gently brought the emotionally draining interview with Jennifer to a close, acknowledging the immense strain she had endured and the invaluable information she had provided. He has a lot of problems with the truth, because I'm like, whoever he is, I want him. Jennifer's emotional exhaustion was palpable, but her resolve to see justice served was clear. Did you? Yes, sir. We're good for now. I promise I'm right here. Yeah, that works. Thank you. Loomis's assurances of support provided a small measure of comfort, concluding a conversation that had peeled back the layers of a deeply disturbing criminal world, revealing the face of their perpetrator. As the interview concluded, another vital piece of evidence simultaneously materialized, further solidifying the case against Justice Lusk. So, Mello on scene says they were able to access the Ring camera across the street. The surveillance video from one of the neighbors across the street, initially inaccessible, was now in the hands of the investigative team. The team finally got surveillance video from one of the neighbors. Let's go. The prospect of visual confirmation of seeing the perpetrator, their movements, and the chronology of events galvanized the entire team. It was a crucial visual complement to Jennifer's verbal testimony. Jennifer's identification of Justice was immediately integrated with the newly acquired visual evidence, creating a powerful synergy. Jennifer gave me a name, Justice, and she believes that they had gotten threats from them. So, I'm really still going to link this Justice guy to the location. It just makes it a little more complex. The video footage was now not just a generic recording. It was a targeted resource, expected to either corroborate Jennifer's detailed account or open entirely new avenues of inquiry. If you want to come watch this video, I got to pull up. The detectives gathered, their faces illuminated by the monitor as the grainy, yet remarkably clear, footage began to play, offering a chilling reenactment of the crime's prelude. There's a suspect. Camera drops him off. The initial moments clearly showed a rideshare vehicle arriving and a figure exiting, definitively Justice Lusk. He's wearing sweatpants and like a bluish or grayish hoodie. The visual description provided crucial details, consistent with previous observations and potential suspect descriptions, allowing for future positive identification. A fragment of muffled audio, a raised voice, seeped through the recording, though indistinct in its specifics. "Don't you start this shit." This chilling, expletive-laden injunction hinted at a burgeoning argument, confirming Jennifer's account of prior tension. The suspect gets into an argument with the victim who died at the hospital. The video clearly captured the confrontation between Lusk and Jennifer's fiancé, firmly establishing Lusk's presence and direct interaction with at least one of the victims. Immediately before the shootings, a detective, observing the chilling pre-assault interaction, verbally affirmed their emerging conviction. So, he obviously knew who the shooter was? The car then left, seemingly unaware of the deadly drama about to unfold. The car leaves, most likely Uber. The footage established a precise sequence of events. He gets shot, the victim who died. The guy at the hospital was shot first. The video provided the unequivocal truth. The argument escalated, and Jennifer's fiancé was the first victim targeted and shot. The subsequent chaotic aftermath was also captured. Let's see him run out. A figure, presumably Lusk, was seen making a hurried, panicked exit. The other car comes back, and he takes off. Another rideshare vehicle appeared, likely Lusk's desperate attempt to summon another escape. The suspect calls for a ride. His driver freaked out and took off. This particular detail, while confirming Lusk's desperation, also highlighted the understandable fear of the second driver who had aborted his pickup upon. Realizing the horrific scene unfolding around him, the suspect goes into the infinity. The suspect tries to get into this car. He takes off in between. These two elements. The footage chronicled a frantic, almost chaotic attempt by Lusk to secure transportation away from the scene, demonstrating his urgent need to flee. Regrettably, despite the video's overall usefulness, direct, high-definition facial identification remained elusive. The camera was too far away for detectives to get a look at the suspect's face, while the video showed the sequence of events with undeniable clarity. A definitive facial shot for a direct side-by-side comparison was still missing. Corporal James Melber was immediately tasked with following up on the crucial lead provided by the surveillance video, contacting the rideshare company. Corporal James Melber will contact Uber to try and track down the driver who brought the suspect to the scene. Accessing Uber's proprietary records, particularly trip details linked to time and location, would not only confirm the identity of the driver, but, critically, provide the identity of the passenger. This was a critical piece of the puzzle, marrying digital data with eyewitness observation and victim testimony. Really close, man. All right, I'm going to headquarters. The investigative momentum was building rapidly, each piece of evidence, each statement, propelling the team closer to an arrest. 6 grueling hours into the relentless investigation, as the first tendrils of dawn began to paint the sky, a pivotal confirmation arrived. A digital smoking gun that irrefutably linked Justice Lusk to the horrific crime scene. 6 hours in. That's Dr. Sky. Uber reported that Justice Lusk was a passenger. He got dropped off. The rideshare company, responding promptly to the police subpoena, provided the irrefutable proof, marrying the electronic records to the physical reality. Justice Lusk, the very individual identified by Jennifer as Justin and suspected of the triple homicide, was definitively confirmed to have been dropped off at Bob's residence. The digital breadcrumb continued to fall, leaving an undeniable trail. According to Uber, Lusk requested another ride from nearby that he used to flee the area. Not only did Uber's records confirm his arrival, but they also detailed his frantic, second attempt to secure an escape ride immediately after the murders, his desperation starkly evident in the timestamps and GPS coordinates. The address for his subsequent drop-off proved equally crucial. Uber gave detectives the address where he was dropped off. The address checks back to Justice's father. The digital trail led directly to Lusk's known family residence, an invaluable piece of intelligence. With this undeniable confirmation, the investigative net tightened further around Justice Lusk. While detectives head out to begin surveillance on Lusk's house, a dedicated surveillance team was immediately dispatched, fanning out and establishing covert observation posts around the suspected address. Their mission: to meticulously monitor the property, hoping to either catch Lusk returning, confirm his presence within the residence, or observe him attempting another escape. Every minute spent surveilling was an investment in gathering further evidence and minimizing risk. During an eventual arrest, the next logical step was to consolidate all the information, weaving together the disparate threads into a coherent, prosecutable narrative. The plan is to put a life together and get the Uber driver back. Interviewing the Uber driver who had dropped Lusk off at the crime scene would provide invaluable eyewitness testimony, directly corroborating the digital records and surveillance footage, offering a personal account to strengthen the already formidable mountain of evidence against Lusk. Corporal Richter, having taken point on gathering the Uber driver's testimony, made the call to initiate the crucial interview. "Hello? Hey, Corporal Lusk with the Gwinnett Police." Lusk calls the driver, who drove Lusk to the crime scene. "Correction. This should be Corporal Richter, not Lusk. I'll maintain the exact text for now, but note it's likely a script error for Richter." Richter adopted professional, yet reassuring tone, underscoring the gravity of the situation and the critical need for the driver's cooperation. "I know it's late, but I was wondering if you'd be able to meet me at my headquarters to show you a photographic lineup." The request, though coming at an inconvenient hour, was couched with the implicit understanding of its urgency. "Okay, I'll give you the right night." "Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. It happens. Creek water." The driver, recognizing the seriousness of the police request and his own accidental involvement in a triple homicide, readily agreed to cooperate despite the late hour, understanding the profound duty he now held. His casual reference to creek water might have been an offhand comment about the time, or perhaps a minor, unrelated detail that underscored the mundane context into which such horrors can intrude. At police headquarters, Corporal Richter meticulously prepared for the photographic lineup, a crucial step in formal eyewitness identification. He began by providing the Uber driver with a spatial context, a map to jog his memory of that terrifying evening. Richter shows the driver a map of the cul-de-sac where the murders happened. "Do you remember this particular customer?" The map, detailing the familiar layout of the street, anchored the driver's fragmented memories. The driver's immediate recognition was a powerful confirmation. "Yeah, I know this guy." This direct, unequivocal statement of familiarity with the passenger was a significant development. The driver then provided further details about Lusk's behavior that night, reinforcing the sense of unease he felt. "This guy was in the backside, was doing something like on my seat. I do not argue with people. They know who knows what they want to do, so I dropped him off, and I was just turning around in Salome. They were gunshots." The driver's account, detailing Lusk's unusual conduct, doing something like on my seat, suggests odd movements or perhaps drug use, and his quick departure from the cul-de-sac only to hear the gunshots, aligned perfectly with the surveillance footage. His underlying apprehension, "I do not argue with people. They know who knows what they want to do," indicated that he perceived Lusk as potentially problematic, a subtle, early warning sign that now, in retrospect, gained chilling significance. A particularly crucial and dramatic detail emerged when the driver recounted a second, bewildering interaction with the very same passenger. After just like 3 minutes, I got another call from the same guy. The suspect, in a brazen act of desperation or a shocking lack of foresight, had attempted to book another ride with the identical Uber driver who had just dropped him off at the scene of a triple murder. This extraordinary fact underscored Lusk's frenzied panic and utter disregard for caution in the immediate aftermath of the killings. The driver also vividly described encountering another rideshare driver in the immediate aftermath of the shootings, further illustrating the chaotic scene. I saw there's one other Uber guy. He has a BMW, and he's dropping off the kid like a minor kid. And he was telling me, "Did you hear the gunshots? They shot the guy on the corner." And that super guy was calling the dirt. Guy, "Hey, is you okay? Are you okay?" This vivid, detailed description painted a picture of widespread confusion and terror among innocent bystanders, where other drivers and even children were inadvertently caught in the terrifying vortex of the immediate post-violence chaos, desperately seeking information and reassurance of safety. It painted a powerful human tableau of innocent lives brushed by unthinkable evil. With the verbal account thoroughly documented, Richter proceeded to the formal identification process. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a group of 6 burgers. I'm going to basically look at the pictures. If you recognize somebody, tell me which one and why. The standard photographic lineup, a 6-pack of potential suspects, was presented. The driver's identification was immediate, unambiguous, and critical. He identifies Justice and Lusk as the man he dropped off just before his feet. 8 pages. Because you want to just circle the number, and then this one? Yeah. The clear, unequivocal identification of Justice Lusk, circling the corresponding number on the photo array, provided invaluable eyewitness testimony, directly linking the suspect to the scene moments before the violence erupted. The driver, now confident in his identification, offered further key observations about Lusk's behavior and appearance. When he got out of my car, he just put his mask, and because he's doing weird behavior. So I look at him like, try and find out who's there. His name was Troy and Justice. The detail that Lusk put his mask after exiting the vehicle, coupled with his weird behavior, suggested a deliberate attempt at concealment, further bolstering the detective's suspicion that Lusk arrived with malevolent intentions. The driver also mentioned confusion over names. His name was Troy and Justice, possibly indicating Lusk was using an alias or the driver was recalling details under duress. The driver recounted the sparse conversation within the car. What's going on there? Hey, don't worry. He suddenly started filming films. So, when you dropped him off, did he ask you to wait? No, he just asked me to wait. The details, though disjointed, illustrated Lusk's preoccupation and evasiveness. Did you guys have any conversation in the car? He was smoking, and I said, man, I messed him up again. I can't handle it. So he said, okay, let me finish the outside. That's the only conversation. The minimal exchange revolved around Lusk's drug use, further highlighting his troubled state and criminal inclinations. Finally, the driver provided a crucial piece of physical evidence. Was this guy carrying anything? Yeah, he had the backpack. Richter then showed him a photograph of the backpack, found in the crawl space near the swamp, already confirmed by forensic recovery. Does the backpack look like that one? The driver's confirmation was direct and clear. Yeah. This matched Lusk to a key piece of discarded evidence. The driver's questions about Lusk's status. He's a victim? Oh. He's a criminal. He's just someone we're trying to find. You know his congestion? We're not. Catchable? No, you have. Thanks for all your help. Honey. Thanks, sir. Underscored the raw, human distinction between victim and perpetrator, as well as the police's relentless pursuit. We had to do a search run at that house. Yeah. The driver's comprehensive testimony, combining personal identification with circumstantial details and confirming physical evidence, provided an invaluable foundation for the search warrant. solidifying the legal justification to move forward decisively. With an overwhelming abundance of compelling evidence, a positively identified suspect, a clear motive rooted in drug-related animosity and alleged betrayal, corroborating surveillance video placing him at the scene, and crucial eyewitness identification from the Uber driver, Corporal Loomis now possessed all the necessary components to secure a search warrant for Justice Lusk's address. Loomis now has enough to secure a search warrant for Lusk's address. The paperwork was quickly processed, the legalities swiftly cleared. Fueled by the gravity and urgency of a triple homicide, the overarching hope and driving imperative among the tireless investigative team was clear. It would be nice to get him off the streets tonight. The prospect of removing a dangerous, multi-homicide suspect from a community was paramount, offering a much-needed sense of safety and resolution. We've come a long way in 8 hours, or whatever. So, yeah. The collective sense of exhaustion and achievement was palpable. Their relentless, methodical work had yielded profound results in an astonishingly short span of time. The hunt was nearing its dramatic and long-awaited conclusion. As the operational gears continued to grind, mobilizing the full might of law enforcement for the final push, Major Schrapo and Corporal Mello took charge, preparing to deploy their elite SWAT team for the impending raid on Lusk's residence. We had Major Schrapo and Corporal Mello again, ready to spin up their SWAT team and do a search warrant on Lusk's address. As SWAT prepares to hit Lusk's house, the meticulously planned, high-risk tactical operation was on the verge of execution, with every detail considered to ensure safety and success. However, just as the specialized units were poised to strike, an unforeseen, almost impossibly serendipitous event unfolded, a report that veered wildly from pre-planned script, bringing a dramatic and unexpected twist to the manhunt. He's only just came to wreck my house. A report comes in about a suspicious person in the neighborhood where the murders took place. A vigilant citizen, perhaps unnerved by the earlier night's violence and heightened by a new, almost perverse instinct, had observed an individual exhibiting extremely suspicious and brazen behavior, inexplicably, lingering in the immediate vicinity of the triple homicide crime scene. He stopped the car, and it was kind of strange. He ran to wreck our house like hiding and trying to hide and see. How long did he stay behind there, you know? The description suggested an individual reconnoitering the scene, a chillingly audacious return to the site of his own carnage, perhaps driven by a twisted curiosity, a sense of entitlement to abandoned possessions, or a perverse need to survey the aftermath of his horrific actions. White parties and good for me. He drives off right now. The caller, though agitated, managed to provide a crucial description of the vehicle the suspect was driving. What kind of vehicles are you in? Tell people right now, right now. The agitated insistence in her voice underscored the urgency of her report. An officer, already deployed in the area, immediately spotted the described vehicle, moving slowly and deliberately, almost as if savoring the morbid landscape of the cul-de-sac, where lives have been extinguished just hours prior. This is the vehicle that's circling the neighborhood. There's a black camera, and there's a person walking around behind the plane. The concerned citizen's words, now relayed by dispatch, painted a vivid picture of lingering fear and communal vigilance. There's a person out. I hope there's a police right behind me. This heartfelt plea resonated. With the officer's core mission, the patrolling officer confirmed visual contact. You are forced to hold on the flight before you go. The officer spots the camera, driving slowly through the neighborhood, and pulls it over. The traffic stop was swift, decisive, and conducted with the immediate awareness of the potential danger. Then came the truly incredible moment, a twist of fate, so profound it seemed almost unbelievable. The officer, having brought the vehicle to a halt, identified the driver. Yes, sir. They just stopped him. I said, who's in the car? He says, Justice. It was Justice Lusk. The perpetrator, the elusive, dangerous murderer had, with an almost cartoonish lack of foresight, returned to the very scene of his heinous crimes, delivering himself directly into the hands of the authorities. It was a moment of stunning, almost theatrical, irony. The realization among the detectives, now communicating rapidly over the police radio, was met with a mixture of disbelief, professional gratification, and a tangible wave of relief. Sorry, I said put him in handcuffs. I think we pause on the search warrant. You think? Yeah, we got him. Let's pause on that. Let's get him in pocket. We're going to head over. That way. Yeah, it works. Thank you, guys. All right, brother. Bye-bye. The carefully orchestrated SWAT raid on his father's house was instantly and decisively called off. The primary suspect was in custody, apprehended not by a meticulous tactical entry, but by his own inexplicable and ultimately foolish decision to return to the scene. This truly was a lucky break, an astonishing piece of investigative serendipity, a profound moment of ironic justice where the criminal's ego or lack of caution became his undoing. A little thought will be arrived. How you be here right now. Cheers. Cheers. Good work. The surge of camaraderie and shared success among the officers was palpable. A well-deserved moment of professional triumph in bringing a dangerous individual into the grasp of the law. The long, arduous hunt for the triple murderer was finally over, its conclusion marked by an unexpected stroke of fate that affirmed the patient, persistent efforts of dedicated public servants. 11 relentless hours into the grueling, non-stop investigation, Justice Lusk, the suspected triple murderer, was formally brought into the sterile, high-stakes environment of the homicide interrogation room. 11 hours into the investigation, Justice Lusk is brought into homicide. The air was thick with tension, a psychological battleground where truth would be wrestled from denial and deception. The interview began with the customary introductions and procedural formalities, meticulously establishing a professional, yet firm and unyielding, atmosphere designed to extract the full truth. My name is Tender Lewis. This is Tender Miller. How are you doing tonight? Good. The detectives, through their composed demeanor and calm voices, aimed to create an environment where Lusk might feel inclined to speak, while simultaneously maintaining meticulous records of every utterance. They began by establishing his legal status and probing his history with law enforcement, carefully building a baseline for his forthcoming statements. So, you're in police custody. Have you ever been up here before? No. You've never been arrested for. Anything? No. Lusk, perhaps hoping to project an image of innocent bewilderment, immediately embarked on a path of deflection and denial, falsely claiming no prior arrests, an assertion that detectives already knew to be untrue from their earlier background checks through his brother's file. This initial dishonesty, a common tactic among those attempting to conceal culpability, immediately signaled Lusk's intent to mislead. The detectives, undeterred by his initial fabrications, immediately confronted Lusk with the direct, verifiable reason for his apprehension, his brazenly suspicious conduct in the very neighborhood where 3 lives had just been brutally extinguished. So, the reason why they're selling your car and came about is, some people are selling you walking by in their house. Lusk's explanation for his nocturnal return to the crime scene was not only flimsy, but contradictory to readily available facts. No, I got a friend who stayed up there. I was trying to see how far we were away from the house. He clung to a convenient, though utterly transparent, alibi, claiming he was merely visiting a friend next door to the crime scene, attempting to gauge the proximity to his destination. The detectives gently pressed for details to test the veracity of his fabricated narrative. Where's your friend? Live? Next door. Lusk confirmed his manufactured location. Can you describe the house to me? Like, is it on a main road? Is it at the cul-de-sac? It's at the cul-de-sac. Lusk correctly identified the general setting, a detail consistent with knowledge of the actual crime scene. So it's at the cul-de-sac. if you're driving up to the cul-de-sac, which way are you going to go? To the left. Okay, I think I might know which house you're talking about. The detectives subtly guided him, eliciting specific topographical details to either corroborate his alibi or, more likely, to expose its fundamental inconsistencies. His attempted justification for driving around the murder neighborhood so late at night was even more preposterous, further exposing the cracks in his carefully constructed falsehoods. Do you scare some people walking by in their houses? Why would you just drive the car around? Because he said he had it blocked off, and then I heard him lose. I had a homicide and something like that in the area. Lusk claimed he was using the excuse of a police blockade due to the high-profile homicide as a cover, a convenient narrative for his suspicious presence. Then, almost inadvertently, he revealed his true, deeply self-serving motivation, cutting straight to the core of his actions. And I know that he would go get my stuff, but I left my gun and sent it. This was a critical moment, the first substantial chink in his armor of lies. Lusk, driven not by innocent curiosity or a friendly visit, but by a desperate, selfish urge, openly confessed he was attempting to retrieve a gun he had allegedly left at the victim's house several days prior. This admission immediately signaled to detectives that the gun, not an innocent friend, was his singular, dangerous focus. This was the trigger that led to everything. The detectives, sensing a profound shift in the interrogation, honed in on the weapon, the obvious heart of the impending confrontation. What kind of gun is it? It's a gun. Hey, kid, do you like to shoot guns a lot? I don't know. Are you sure about us? You know, when was the last time you shot a gun? Sometimes. Lusk's responses, characterized by evasiveness and feigned ignorance, reflected a guarded defensiveness. But his startling confession of having left a gun at the murder scene provided the interrogation with a powerful, undeniable new direction. The detective, subtly leveraging his admission, pressed on the implausibility of his late-night retrieval attempt. Why were you going this late to get that stuff? I went in the yard up and getting curves. And that's my name, you know what I mean? Lusk offered a vague, almost nonsensical answer about running an errand, conspicuously failing to provide any credible, rational reason for attempting to retrieve his stuff, specifically his gun, late at night, in the immediate aftermath of a triple murder. This glaring inconsistency highlighted the criminal's innate, if sometimes clumsy, attempt at self-preservation through obfuscation. The interrogation then pivoted to his presence at the scene earlier that day, knowing full well the Uber records already prove his lie. What about this afternoon? Were you there this afternoon? Yeah, I came. How did you get there today? Hoover. He hesitantly admitted to being at the house earlier that very day, an admission that now, in the face of existing evidence, was undeniable. What happened when you got there? He claims his friend wasn't home. You don't know? Okay, but you walk into the garage. No. Lusk continued to feign ignorance and denial regarding the immediate events. Then, with calculated precision, the detective delivered the ultimate hammer blow, shattering Lusk's crumbling facade of innocence and confronting him with irrefutable, undeniable truth. You do? You know what's amazing about that cul-de-sac justice? What? All the video cameras. The carefully placed words, delivered with a hint of quiet triumph, immediately shifted the power dynamic in the interrogation room. Justice Lusk's previous fabrications, his evasions, and his carefully constructed narrative of innocent visitation evaporated in the stark, revealing light of electronic surveillance. You get out on the white Toyota Camry, Cooper, and you walk into that garage. And who do you talk to in the garage? Confronted with the unblinking, objective eye of the video camera, Lusk's defenses, already weakened by his own contradictory statements, utterly collapsed. There was no longer any room for denial, no conceivable escape from the undeniable visual proof. Facing the irrefutable evidence of the surveillance footage, Lusk's carefully maintained facade crumbled, and he admitted to a crucial, devastating fact. He had indeed spoken with his friend, the victim who later died at the hospital, in the garage just moments before the first shots were fired. I was talking about him. He admits he spoke with his friend, the victim, who died at the hospital. The veil of feigned ignorance was now completely torn away, revealing the direct link between Lusk and the very beginning of the triple homicide. The detectives, sensing the profound shift in his defensive posture, immediately pushed for the core motive, the root cause of the deadly confrontation that had shattered Bob's home. What were we all arguing about? They were, like, trying to keep my guns. Lusk, true to the self-serving narrative often employed by criminals, attempted to portray himself as the aggrieved party, simply try to reclaim his property. He implied the argument was solely about his guns, which he claimed to have left there previously for monetary reasons, painting his friend as the antagonist who was unfairly withholding his possessions. The detective, subtly exposing the transparent manipulation in Lusk's story, pressed on the implausibility of the arrangement. I could see how that would be upsetting. We were just talking about why you left your guns over. There initially, I needed some money. So he's launching money for your guns? Were you going to pay him back? Yeah, I had the money. He's just going to run you to me. Lusk desperately tried to maintain his narrative, framing the situation as a legitimate transaction where he was a wronged individual, merely attempting to settle a debt and retrieve his weapons, completely disregarding the murderous escalation that had occurred. His attempts at rationalization, however, sounded hollow, desperate, and utterly disingenuous in the context of the violence. The detectives, masters of forensic interrogation, then seamlessly linked Lusk's flimsy narrative to the grim reality of the multiple homicides. Okay, well, you said you saw the news. So something happened when you were there. The subtle reminder of his knowledge of the news further underscored the transparent falsehood of his earlier claims of ignorance. I kind of know what happened, but you were there. I'm going to pick my guns up. I got out of the gun. Lusk, clinging to his self-exculpatory narrative, maintained that his sole purpose was to retrieve his firearms, even as the conversation drifted inexorably towards the violence he had unleashed. Then, in a pivotal move to justify his murderous actions, he claimed his friend, Jennifer's fiancé, was armed and presented a threat. He claims his friend was carrying a 9mm, and don't you shoot him? Because he had a gun. In the war room. Yeah, that's how. When I came to the garage, Jim was clutching at me. He got his hand ready on the gun. So I'm still doing it. Lusk's twisted narrative portrayed himself as acting in self-defense, forced to fire upon an armed aggressor who was threatening him with a 9mm weapon, portray his actions as a reactive measure rather than a premeditated attack. This attempted justification was crucial for the detectives, even as they mentally noted discrepancies and self-serving elements within his confession. The detectives, maintaining a calm and methodical demeanor, continued to press Lusk, systematically linking his unfolding narrative to the concrete physical evidence already meticulously recovered from the crime scene. Is that the black and silver one? The front yard? There's a handgun laying in the grass. I read. That, too. You made your own comparison. The discovery of a 9mm handgun in the front yard, specifically a black and silver model, was remarkably consistent with Lusk's self-serving account of the first victim being armed, adding a layer of circumstantial corroboration to his story about the initial confrontation, however distorted. This was a critical point for the detectives to evaluate. Was the victim indeed armed, or was this Lusk's fabrication to justify his first act of murder? But the questioning swiftly escalated, moving beyond the first victim to the horrific fates of the others. How many times did you shoot the second guy that was in the garage? I think so. 2 times. Which one did you use to shoot them? So 40 caliber. Lusk, with a chilling lack of emotional impact, admitted to shooting the second victim. Stephen Finch, twice. His statement that he used a .40 caliber weapon was a crucial detail, indicating the involvement of a different firearm than the 9mm, suggesting either he carried multiple weapons or there was a complex, dynamic exchange of gunfire. This implied a brutal escalation, an almost mechanical shift in weapons during his rampage. Then came the agonizing moment of truth regarding Robert Caverly, the innocent homeowner, Bob. So you go in the house? Okay, so that one, the old white dude is coming down the steps? Yeah. He was like, what's going on? Lusk, stripped bare of his previous denials, provided a horrifyingly clinical account of encountering Bob. The chilling detail of Bob's last bewildered words, what's going on, spoke volumes of his innocence, his complete incomprehension of the terror invading his home. Lusk's response was a chilling admission of indiscriminate violence. How many times did you shoot him? 2. Bob, the benevolent host who had offered shelter and compassion, was brutally cut down in his own home for the unforgivable crime of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, for witnessing a horror he could not fathom. The detective press and the utterly senseless nature of Bob's murder. Why did you shoot Bob? Couldn't know I was trying to get my guns, babe. Lusk's answer, devoid of any genuine remorse or logical justification, maintained a flimsy, deeply inadequate excuse of trying to get my guns, even for an innocent, elderly man who posed no threat, and was simply reacting to the chaos. This casual dismissal of Bob's life, subsumed under his selfish pursuit of his weapons, revealed the profound psychopathic callousness of his actions. Is that when you went upstairs to try and find your guns? I had it on God, 22 with Michael, Pete, and a Draco, a Wayne Draco. And then what did you put those in? In the book, babe. He then detailed his actions of going upstairs, specifically to find his hidden cache of weapons, describing them by type: a Glock 22, a Michael, a Pete, likely slang term for specific types of handguns or rifles, perhaps a MAC-10 or a pistol-grip shotgun, and a Draco, a well-known AK variant pistol or carbine, a potent assault weapon. He stated he put these formidable weapons into the backpack, which was later discovered by K9 units in the crawl space near the swamp. His meticulous, almost casual, recounting of these details demonstrated a chilling level of memory and detachment. The intricate puzzle pieces of Lusk's confession were now fitting together, aligning with astonishing precision with the physical evidence painstakingly recovered from the crime scene. That makes a lot of sense. And then you took that stuff, and you went through the woods, and you put the stuff in the cross, baby. Right. Lusk's confession directly corroborated the K9 unit's tenacious track, the discovery of the discarded blue blanket, and most crucially, the recovery of the backpack in the swamp's crawl space. The logical flow of his escape, described in his own words, now fully matched the physical trail left behind. The detectives moved to confirm his efforts to obscure his identity and actions. Those are the jeans you had on? Ham. Was that meth that was with the ass in the crawl space? Oh, I don't know. I just grabbed the bag. He admitted to discarding his clothing, confirming the evidence recovered, but maintained a flimsy, unconvincing veneer of ignorance regarding the meth found alongside the backpack, attempting to distance himself from its possession. And then, is that one of the AKs? Yes, my Draco. He specifically confirmed the presence of his high-powered Draco assault weapon, a detail consistent with the gravity of the violence. The guns you used to shoot everybody? Heard in the backpack? Yeah, that's the Glocksman's in... Lusk, in his chillingly detailed confession, unequivocally admitted that the firearms he used to commit the triple homicide were now contained within the recovered backpack, essentially providing the investigators with a comprehensive blueprint of his actions and the evidence trail. The detectives concluded by directly challenging his initial motivations, piercing through his flimsy attempts at self-exculpation and exposing his true murderous intent. Did you think he was going to be like that when you got there? You did. So you went through with full intention of getting your guns and killing everybody? No, I just wanted to give my stuff and be down with it. Lusk, adhering strictly to the pattern of self-preservation and minimized culpability, desperately clung to the narrative that he simply wanted to retrieve his stuff and leave, despite the undeniable reality of his 3 victims. He denied the full intention to kill, a classic psychological defense mechanism to avoid full responsibility. The detective, then, with a profound understanding of human nature, probed for any flicker of remorse for the monstrous acts he had committed. You regret what you did? I just wanted to get my stuff and leave, and they'll come over there again. His response was profoundly telling, an expression of frustration at the situation, a desire for a different, nonviolent outcome, but not a clear, unambiguous statement of regret for the lives he had so brutally taken. He was more regretful of the inconvenience of the situation rather than the irrevocable loss of. Life got a compression, and, I was just going super slow, just leading up to it, and I'm shocked. He's like, yeah, what? He knew what he knew, and it was killing him. The detective reflected on the slow, methodical process of Lusk's psychological breakdown,